Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, wherever you are. Welcome back to another tutorial. Really quick one today that's really cool, and you can make them as large or as small as you want depending on the yarn and how many times you go over your border. So this is just a puff stitch that kind of looks like a throwing star. It's actually really cool, and it kind of gives a 3D look as well, and it works for clothes. You can make tops out of this, you can make bags, you can make blankets, you can make scarves, all sorts of things. So let's get started. I am using, well, for this one I used merino yarn just because I wanted it to really pop. If you are going to do it like this with two different colors like I did, I would suggest, I know it's going to take longer, but I would suggest cutting and starting instead of reconnecting, or sorry, not instead of just trying to connect the yarn as you go like I did, because it looks a little bit unclean here. Unclean, yes, unclean. But yeah, so I would, if you're going to start with another color, cut this color, the first color you're using, and then connect your new color and then reconnect here. It just makes it look a little bit neater, but I mean, if you're happy with this just as it is, then go for it, whatever works for you. And this one I just went around the border a little bit more just to show you what it would look like if there was a larger frame, if that makes any sense. Okay, so grab whatever yarn you would like to use. Just for this tutorial, I'm going to use a little bit puffier yarn just because I like the 3D look. So instead of just using, a thinner cotton or something, I am using a thicker cotton today. So let's begin. So we're going to start with a magic ring. So just wrap your yarn around, and I tell you every week that my hands are going to be cleaner and neater and there's not going to be dye on them, and I lie to you every week and tell you that, but I've been dyeing yarn again. I'm sorry. It's just, my hands are a mess. Please forgive me. Okay, so we're going to make our magic ring here and then chain 3. 1, 2, 3, and this is going to count as your first double crochet, and you're going to do 15 more double crochets into the magic ring. So that's yarn over, pull through the loop, yarn over, pull through 2 loops. So you're going to do that 15 times. 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, okay, that's 14 and 15. So in total you will have 16 because you're counting that first 3 chains as a double crochet. So pull your loop tight, or tight enough, and then do a slip stitch on the top of that chain 3 that you did, and that is your foundation round. Okay, so next round is chain 3, and then chain another 2, so that's going to count as a double crochet and chain 2, and then into the next stitch you're going to do a double crochet and then chain 2, and then into the next stitch a double crochet. So you're going to do that all the way around. So it's chain 2, double crochet, chain 2, and until you have 16 all the way around, and I'll meet you back here. Okay, so once you have your 16, make sure that you do chain 2, just remember that, and then into, so count from the chain 5 that you did, count 3 up, 1 2 3, and then into the third one you do a slip stitch just like that, and boom, that is round number 1 done. Now round number 2, we are going to slip stitch into this first chain 2 space just like that, and then chain 3, 1 2 3, and then into this same chain space you're going to do 4 double crochets. 1 2 3 4. Now here is where we're going to make our first puff stitch. So loosen your yarn here on, or the loop, and pull your hook out. Now go into the, so from the loop here, count 1 2 3 4, and into the fourth one stick your hook, and then grab your loop again just like that, and then you can tighten it, and then pull your loop through just like that. Okay, so we'll chain 2. Okay, we'll do that again. So you're going to be doing 16 of these little puff stitches. So we're going to do 5 double crochets into this next chain space. So creaky today. 1, so let's yarn over, pull up loop, pull up 2, pull up 2. Okay, so pull, make your loop nice and loose, pull your hook out, count 1 2 3 4, and into the fourth one stick your hook, and then grab the loop that you had let go of, that you abandoned, and then pull the loop through that hole just like that, and that gives you a little puff petal, and then chain 2. You'll keep going, so do 16 puff stitches all the way around and do a chain 2 space in between, and then I'll meet you back at the end here. Hey, welcome back. So this is sort of what your project should look like, kind of like a flower or a wheel with spokes. So when you've done your last puff stitch, make sure that you do your chain 2, and then you can connect, just do a slip stitch into the back of the first puff stitch, just like that. Now you're going to slip stitch into that chain 2 space, and then chain 3, 1 2 3, and you're going to do another puff stitch. So that is 4 double crochets, and then pull that through, then you chain 2, and then jump over to the next space and do the same thing, except you're doing 5 double crochets in that one. Remember, the chain 3 is only your starter to start the next round. And other than that, all your puff stitches are 5 double crochets. So once you've done 4 puff stitches, you're going to make your first corner. Okay, so once you've done your 4th one here, what you do once you've done your 4th one, 4th puff stitch, you chain 8. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. And then you do another 4 puff stitches with chain 2 spaces in between. And then after the 4th one, you do a chain 8. And you continue that all the way around till you get to the first one again, and I'll meet you there. Okay, so once you've reached your last puff stitch, make sure you do your chain 8, and then you can just attach it to the top of the first puff stitch that you've done with a slip stitch, just like that. So you will have basically you're creating a little square. So you guessed it, the next stage is to slip stitch into that first chain space, and then chain 3, 1, 2, 3, and then do a puff stitch, and then do 2 more puff stitches, and then I'll meet you at this chain 8 space. And just before you pause the video, make sure that you're doing chain 2 spaces in between your puff stitches. Okay, so you'll end up with 3 puff stitches with chain 2 spaces in between. Okay, so once you have your 3 puff stitches in this round, which is round 1, 2, 3, you are going to chain 2, and into this chain 8 space you're going to do 6 double crochets. Once you have your 6, you're going to chain 3, 1, 2, 3, and into that same space, so you might have to squish things over, do another 6 double crochets. So it's 6 double crochets, chain 3, 6 double crochets. Okay, so that is creating your corner. So remember to chain 2 and then jump to the next 3 spaces, do your puff stitches with chain 2 in between them, and then in the corner it's double crochet 6, chain 3, double crochet 6. So just keep doing that all the way around, and I'll meet you back at the end here. Hey, welcome back. So once you've done your last corner and you have your 6 stitches, make sure you do your chain 2 and then connect to the top of the first puff stitch with a slip stitch, and then we are on to round 1, 2, 3, 4. Okay, so slip stitch into the chain space that you have, and then you're going to do 1 puff stitch, chain 2, another puff stitch, chain 2, and then I'll meet you at this first corner. Okay, so when we've gotten to these 2 puff stitches, you chain 2, and then into this next chain space just before your 6 double crochets, you do a double crochet into that. And then across all 6 of these, you do a double crochet. So that will give you a total of 7 double crochets. So once you have your 7, and you can always count 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Okay. Then into this chain 3 space here, you're going to do another 2 double crochets. And then chain 3, 1, 2, 3, and into that same space, that chain space, do another 2 double crochets. And then you're going to move across these 6 double crochets and do another 6 double crochets. So you might have to pull a little bit to get into this first one, but you're doing a double crochet into that, and then so all 6 across. And then into the final chain 2 space here, you do 1 more double crochet, just like that. So in your corner for this round, you have 9 double crochets, chain 3, 9 double crochets. So make sure you do your chain 2 space in between these puff stitches, but that's it. So you can go around and do round 4 like that, and I will meet you when you have gotten to the last bit. Okay, here we go. This is what your throwing stars look like. Look, these are not violent throwing stars. These are, you're throwing love. You're throwing love at people, okay? So when you are done your corner, chain 2, and then slip stitch into the top of the first puff stitch that you did. So you've done, you see the decrease here. It's gone from 4, 3, 2, and you guessed it. So we're going to slip stitch into the final space here in between these 2 puff stitches. Do 1 puff stitch by chaining 3 and doing 4 double crochets. 2, 3, 4. So once you have your puff stitch, you can chain 2. Okay, and then into this chain space, this next one, you do a double crochet, and then do your 9 double crochets across this row, just like this. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, and then into that chain space in the corner you do 2 double crochets, chain 3, and 2 double crochets. And then across the rest you do another 9 double crochets and then 1 more on the end, and then that will take you, you do chain 2 and then that'll take you to your puff stitch here. Okay, so keep going all the way around and then I will meet you when you've gotten to the very end. So this is basically what you should have, or some kind of version of this. When you've done your last chain 2, you do a slip stitch into the top of your first puff stitch here, and just to finish off and give it the final border, and then I'll show you how to expand and grow if you want to continue that. So all it is from here on out is double crochet all the way across, but just to get you started here, you do a chain 3 and that's going to count as your double crochet at the top here, and then do a double crochet into that chain 2 space, and then all the way across the 12 here do double crochets. So I guess we can do that together. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, and 12, and then into that chain 3 space, it's always a 2 double crochet, chain 3, 2 double crochet, and that's what's going to grow your project. So if you're doing a next row, where you grow it is 2 double crochets, chain 3, 2 double crochets into the chain space. So you do that all the way around. Now when you get to this, all of the gaps where you have your chain 2 space, you do a single double crochet into that, 1 into the top of your puff stitch, and then 1 beside it, and then continue across. So just in case that didn't make sense, I'll show you how to do that. So let me just get you to this space here. Okay, with the magic of editing, look, I've made it to the middle here. So what you do here, once you've done your 12 across, is you do 1 double crochet into this space, a double crochet into the top of your puff stitch, and then 1 double crochet beside into the other chain space, and then that should bring you to the next 12. So that's it. So you continue, and I will meet you just at the very end just to congratulate you and send you on your way. Okay, so we did it. Made it to the end. Make sure you do your last double crochet into that space, and then you can slip stitch into the top of the chain 3 that you did, and that will make it nice and square. You can continue then if you want to make it bigger, which again, just chain 3, go across like I've said, and if not, just finish it off and you're done. I'm going to measure this for you just so that you have an idea of what kind of size. It's just a little bit over 6. Even if you block it, it'll be about 6.5, or you can make it 7, even 7 inches across. So yeah, so 6 by 6 this is. So quite a big project, but you can make them smaller depending on the yarn. And this was actually cotton and nylon, so it had a little bit of stretch to it. But yeah, that's it. You guys are done. Good job. You did it. I'm proud of you. So just finish these off. That's it. You did it. You can make all sorts of projects. You can also turn these into little potpourri packages. So you just make 2 of these and then seal them up, stick an organza bag or cotton or stuffing, whatever, in it, and then they're pretty little packages to give away. So that's it. We'll see you next time. Thanks for watching. Take care of each other and yourselves. Bye-bye.